This conference will now be recorded.
There, you got it.
Got it.
Yay! We're official. So I know some people had told me they'll pop in here and there, so hopefully they will. And I think I have not a great connection because I notice I keep freezing. But let's see how it goes here. So welcome to everyone to our ANCAN Blood Cancer Support Group tonight. I'm so glad you're with us. And we have people with a few different things here tonight. I'm Michelle Nadine Baker, and my co-moderators. I have chronic lymphocytic leukemia, otherwise known as CLL, and I'm in Boston. And just wanted to open up our meeting for those who will be watching this on YouTube. And my co-moderators are Sally Torgeson with multiple myeloma, who's a wonderful coach, and Al Ruvalcaba, who has polycythemia vera. And anyway, the meeting is officially open for all. So for newcomers, thus far, we don't have any newcomers. So who needs time to share this evening? Judy, would you like some time to share?
Oh, I think I've shared for most of you. I've already heard.
Yeah, I'll take some time.
I'll take some time.
So that was Sally. Was that Jim or Herb? Jim. Okay.
Jim.
And I'll take some time.
Okay.
Herb,
And I will Al.
No, I'm good. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Hey.
And you don't even have a phone in your hand.
You figured it out, obviously. Well, this means it's going to be a great meeting. So we could hear from you tonight. That's the sad part, is we can hear you, so we could hear from you. So if you change your mind, let us know. Yeah. So Sally, what is it you would like to
share? That after the Irish invasion of relatives last month, I finally got COVID that they brought with them. And as most of you are immunocompromised as I am, I was terrified that something bad was going to happen, but it didn't. The other three had COVID for 10 days or so. I got COVID. I immediately went on Paxlovid and ended up only having it for 5 days. But interesting thing is I had the most sore throat, the worst sore throat that I've ever had in my life. Wow. The doctor was about to send me to the ER for strep, thinking I had a strep throat because it was so bad. And she said, well, wait 2 days and then go on Monday if it's still bad. And by Monday, it started to calm down. And I saw her 2 days ago and we talked about it. And she indicated to me, which I'd never heard before, is that Paxlovid is the culprit in the sore throat, not the COVID.
Whoa.
I just read a story though, and I'm trying to remember.
And then I got bronchitis, but that's okay.
You got that from COVID, or?
No, I just think it was because I was, I was down, sick for 5 or 6 days, and then with everybody here visiting, and they had to extend their time here by another week, so they were here for 3 weeks. And then I was just exhausted, and I just got bronchitis.
So have you had Evusheld or any of that?
I've had 5 vaccines, 4 boosters, and Evusheld.
Oh, wow. So
and since I've had Evusheld, I don't think I had Omicron, the new one, because Evusheld is not effective against the new one, the 4.6.
Right. So if you had the
5.6 or whatever it is.
Have you had the booster that's for the Omicron?
No, I haven't had that yet because he told me not to get it because it was available the 1st of September and I just had another booster in July and he said to wait till October. So
have you had the second round of Evusheld?
Yeah, I've had all of it. Yeah.
You had one 6 months ago and another one.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, now they say don't get the new Omicron vaccine or booster until 90 days after I got COVID, which would be put me in the middle of December. So, but I was interested when she told me that it was, in many cases, it's the Paxlovid, or however you pronounce it correctly. Is that right, Herb? Paxlovid?
Paxlovid,
Paxlovid.
Paxlo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can spell it, I just can't say it. He said that they heard a lot of reports that that's what's causing the very terrible, terrible sore throats.
Well, that's interesting because I had a horrible sore throat. I did not test positive in a PCR or a million at-home tests for COVID. And it started with, just like they're saying, I just read something too that says this one starts with a horrible sore throat without
Yeah,
mentioning the
yeah.
Paxlovid.
Yeah. Well, it could have been either, but I don't know. But I tested positive and then I took the Paxlovid and never had a sore throat like that in my life. It was one of
And
those, I'd rather slit my throat than go another day with this.
did you have the rebound from the Paxlovid that some people get?
Not so far.
So you got better before your family?
No. Well, I got better faster than they did, but they'd had it for almost 2 weeks before I got it.
Oh,
They got it like
goodness.
on Labor Day and I got it on like the 13th or 14th of September.
You held out a long time. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so yeah. Well, I made them stay in their rooms and I wouldn't, didn't eat dinner with them. They sat outside and watched the birds most of the time and I stayed in my bedroom. I just was not going to do this.
That's really
Nothing
hard
like
to have.
inviting your relatives to visit and then ignoring them,
Wow.
but
Oh,
anyway, that's
Yeah,
my
so
story. I'm sticking to it.
yeah, when I had COVID, I probably had it, I'm going to say about 5 or 6 days, not more than a week.
Yeah.
And when I went to my primary care, I think I sent him a message in the portal, and he did give me the prescription for the Paxlovid, but told me to check with my doctor up at Mayo before I did. And so I did. I sent them a message, and my doctor up at Mayo was not a big fan of the Paxlovid. She told me, don't.
you say why?
No. Well, she probably did, but I don't remember.
Blame it on the COVID. You had COVID. Of course you don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, my
All I
friend,
know is that the three of them had it for over 10 days and I had it for 5.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, thanks to those shots.
Yeah.
I
my friend,
got COVID. I didn't get Paxlovid because
We lost you again, Herb.
Judy, go ahead. I'm sorry.
my friend that had
You lost me.
who has CLL, had COVID and took the Paxlovid, and then the oncologist told her that she could get an infusion later, and so she had the infusion that lasted about a 40-minute infusion. I guess was antibodies. I think is what
Probably
it was.
IVIG.
No, it wasn't IVIG because that takes a couple of hours. But they actually came to her home and gave it to her. There were three nurses. One came in and watched her. They had to watch her for like 2 hours after they gave it to her, and then she's done really well from that.
Oh, it could have been the monoclonal antibodies then.
Yeah, I think it
That's
was monoclonal antibodies.
No, it begins with, there's one that begins with a B, and I always forget the name of it. Herb, I don't know if you or Sally remember the name of it.
I
Was
can't
this
pronounce
Yeah.
I remember this.
Herb, have you had COVID or
I did. I
Jim?
came back. I was really careful. And then I went to a scientific meeting in July where it was a super spreader event.
Oh,
Basically, the meeting is a small meeting of a couple hundred people, and every day you ate together 3 meals a day. So, it was just clearly the ideal place to spread. And so I got it the last day of the meeting and came home with it. So,
Oh,
but it lasted it was just a bad cold. I mean, I didn't feel like anything more than a bad cold. I tested positive for about 7 or 8 days, and then that was it. So I was lucky.
you are. And, blood cancer patients and some more than others are extremely
Right.
immunocompromised.
Sure.
But is it the same for anyone who has been through chemo for any
Yeah.
type of cancer?
Right. If it's recent chemo, for sure, you're immunocompromised. Your lymphocytes are way down. So yes. So you've lost your ability to fight. But so I mean, when I got back, the person who worked with me, who was at the meeting and didn't get it because he was a little more careful than I was, just chastised me for being too risk taking.
What did you do that was so risky?
Well, we ate. I mean, you ate with people and you didn't wear a mask necessarily while you're eating, right? And so it was a chance to get to spread. So I just ate with the wrong people.
That's the thing that scares me the most is eating somewhere because it does seem to spread more during those things.
That and flying.
Flying, I've been okay because I've worn a mask. I don't take it off.
I think flying is safer than you think. I think if we had heard about flying being a major spreader of COVID, it would be in the papers, and it hasn't been.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Europe twice over the summer and didn't, flew and didn't wear a mask on the plane.
Oh, you
Didn't
didn't?
get COVID. No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Well,
go without personally.
well,
Well,
when I,
You're
Mick
not.
and my Irish, well, it could have been in the terminals too, because they were 18 hours
in
late.
the terminals, I wear a mask.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
That's what
the plane was canceled in London and all this other stuff. So, they had a long delays of getting here. So they could have gotten it anywhere in that route.
What do you all think about?
We wear masks all the time. We're in the terminal. We've flown 6 times this year. I'm fixing to do a 7th and wear a mask. And of course, my husband is in a wheelchair, so we get on first. So we're not in any kind of crowd getting onto the plane.
Right.
Which helps.
But
Yeah, I'm
everybody
flying at
was.
the end of the month, so.
Judy, I have a question. Is he a veteran?
No.
Oh, okay. Shucks.
Now, my dad was, I did all the veteran stuff with my dad. So,
Oh, okay.
no. He's developed Parkinson's, and so that's
Right.
as well
How
as
does everybody? Is he also immunocompromised, Judy?
yes, he's a prostate cancer survivor as well as he has MGUS. So, he's on the borderline of the myeloma part.
Well, for the Parkinson's as well, does that, or the meds that he's on? Because my brother-in-law had Parkinson's and he was considered high risk
Yes, well,
on for immunity, I mean.
yeah, his IVIG every time he has that though is very high. He has high,
Yes.
so that helps. So, but it's been a trip.
I'm sure it has. Who takes care of you?
I think that is why I am in good remission right now. I mean, the last blood test I had, every single thing was within normal except for the bun. And I have not had that in years. I mean, I just think God is taking care of me so I can take care of him.
Good.
Oh,
Good.
excellent.
That's all we can figure out. The only thing I have is fatigue right now.
Is it
So
debilitating?
Not really. I try to make him go to work out a couple of hours so I can lay down and take a nap because he's not asleep during the day. So, yeah,
It's a good strategy.
yeah.
So I'll
Well,
jump in and
go
report give my news. So Sally, my brother got his childhood vaccines
Good.
Monday,
Good.
and all his numbers look great. So
Fantastic. So he's about 100 days out then, or a
way
year out?
a little over. No, he got more than 100. I mean, I
Okay.
think he got his transplant in like June.
Okay.
So
Because normally they wait a year. I'm surprised they got him so soon.
Mm.
well, maybe not everything. I mean,
Yeah.
he sent me his let me see if I can show you if I can. I don't know if it was an email or a uh,
I imagine he has a sore arm or two.
maybe, right.
Do they give you all of them at once?
I think he
Um,
got it.
most of them, yeah. Except some of them, like the pneumonia 23 is 3 shots, so you do it once a month for 3 months. So, and like the measles vaccines, they have to give you 3 vials because the vials they come in are for children.
Oh,
Yeah, they basically gave him this. I don't know if you can see it. No,
That's
you
all right.
really
Don't worry about
you
it. I
can't
can't see.
see it.
There's a glare.
There's
Big
a
black
glare.
glare on it.
Can't read. Well, I wonder if I do that, whether now. Nope, there's
No.
still glare.
No.
No.
At any rate, it
I would.
says your child's first vaccines. Hepatitis,
Kid again.
polio, PCV3, HLB, and DTaP, which is
Huh.
interesting because his wife is a pediatrician. So I said, Judy, did you give it to him? But she didn't.
I don't see measles and
No, I don't
diphtheria.
think he
Oh,
got
DTaP is
MMR.
diphtheria.
Maybe not yet.
Yeah, maybe that's the one they have to wait a year for.
Maybe MMR, they wait a year.
Yeah, and polio, I'm surprised they gave him.
so was his
Too.
stem cell from a family member, or was it uh,
Huh?
was
I'm
his
This is my brother with
yeah?
multiple myeloma.
So was his transplant from a family member or from a?
No, it was autologous.
Okay.
Of his own.
His
It's
own
pretty
cells.
amazing.
Okay.
How is he feeling, Herb?
He looks good. I mean, he's feeling fine. Oh, we lost Sally.
Yep.
He looks
She'll be
fine.
back.
I mean, he lost
That's-
a lot of weight, which I think he looks great. And I mean, that's that's my my bête noire, Jim, is weight, too much weight gain. And then, so he looks fine. I think he's a little depressed. I think even, this does it to all of us. It's hard to escape our condition.
Mhm.
Even if you think you did, you didn't.
That's true.
It is true.
Sorry about that. It was my brother, and he never calls me, so I thought it was something wrong,
Oh,
but it wasn't.
Oh, oh, that's good. And how's your health, Herb?
mine is holding steady. I mean, we're just doing what we can. I'm taking this novel radioactive stuff that seems to keep things in check for a while, and we'll see how it works. But but it's a long haul, and it's, as Jim can tell you, you're never really cured, at least not yet.
So does that mean no one can be around you? Is it still like that if you
Okay,
take
so
something?
for the first 3 days, I got so I had it last Wednesday. And so the first 3 days, I have to stay away from people. And then for the first week, stay away from kids.
Because you're radioactive?
Because I am radioactive indeed.
Wow.
A
I didn't
song
know
about
that.
that.
So for the first 3 nights, I sleep separately in another room and wash my clothes separately, use a different bathroom.
So what is it doing to when you think about that? What is that doing to you? I mean,
Well, it's
is it
killing
very
the cancer for one. I mean, it's doing the cancer cells in for one. That's a very positive thing, right?
Or what cancer are you taking?
Prostate cancer.
Oh, okay. My husband had the surgery.
Right, but for me, it was too late for surgery.
Okay.
So
Me too.
Well, he had that, and then he had 40 radiation treatments.
right, and that's typical. So, but it's interesting. It's this. I was getting it as a trial, as an expanded, as kind of compassionate use before it was approved. And then after and it was approved like the day before I got my first dose.
So
But,
are
but
you?
luckily, it's still being given to me under the auspices of the trial. So we're not paying for it because each injection is $45K.
and how many do you get?
You get 6.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Oof.
6 weeks apart.
Well, even the
You-
Lupron shots that my husband takes is very expensive. They're like 16K.
Yeah,
What?
I don't get charged for Lupron, so I don't know what it costs.
We don't pay for it, but like
Right,
$85 or something. But that's the bill that comes up.
right,
Sally, no wonder Herb looks great. He's glowing.
right. I'm glowing
That's
as
why he looks so good.
look. Well, my wife always wanted a hot husband,
Yeah. Ah,
and she finally got one.
You have to say can't touch this because she can't be near you. So Jim, did you have that treatment as well? The same kind? Are you
no,
active?
because of the fact, anyway, I took a different path because it was like 5 years ago. I got a rude shock that surprise, you have stage 4 incurable terminal metastatic prostate cancer. Okay, and they proved it because they did the they did and with a biopsy, okay, on a lymph node in the back. Okay, and it has not gone to the bones. And also, I have the least aggressive of the aggressives.
Good.
So at that point, I went on ADT, which is androgen deprivation therapy. Okay, Lupron.
Right.
Okay, and a second level drug, abiraterone, at that time, and so that happened to serve me well for about close to 5 years, and I decided to take a drug holiday. So I have stopped everything, and I'm coasting now for who knows. It'll be 6 months, it could be 9 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years. But eventually, down the road, okay, at the time they happen to figure out how to produce their own food, then yes, I will probably do the same treatment as Herb, okay, as one that is available. And there are a number of them. So I'm not quite
Well,
there yet.
for those watching who have not tuned into the wrong support
Right.
group,
This
this
is not
blood cancer support group.
prostate
But
cancer. That's Monday night. If you want prostate cancer, come. If you're advanced, come Monday night or Tuesday, depending on the day, depending on the week, and check the ANCAN website.
Yeah,
we
now,
just people who have family members and they're here for their family members who have a
right.
blood cancer.
Now,
And
just to divert a thing, let's see, at the beginning, people happen to notice the haircut I got, okay? Medium and tight, it's called. Well, provided that you do that, it showed there was a couple of growths, okay, on the scalp, which I hadn't really noticed. So I saw my doctor on Tuesday afternoon, and the key I found out is that if the doctor asks you, does it bleed? You always say yes, because that is an automatic referral to a dermatologist. Okay. I mean, that's automatic. Otherwise, they'll say, don't worry about it. You know, it isn't bad. Okay. And you have to watch it.
Is that through your VA?
No. I do not use the VA. Anyway, I was a federal employee, okay, at the time in 1991, that the time that the war started, okay, and the hospitals were full of the wounded, etc. And at that point in time, I was only 10%. So it wasn't really good to use them, and I didn't use the military hospitals here. Okay, I used civilian plans.
So you do TRICARE or something like that?
Well, no, yes, as paying third. Okay, I have the Medicare pays first, FEHB, which is the Federal Employees Health Plans, pays second, and TRICARE for Life pays third. But it brings up an interesting thing because then the thing that happened back in August, okay, I got a inquiry if I would help out, okay, at the Walter Reed Center here. Okay, it's a gigantic hospital, okay, and it's huge. And there is a group in there called the Center for Prostate Research, Prostate Disease Research. And September happened to be the month to get people aware. So they asked for a person to come in and way to pump it, you know, to attempt to get folks interested in the testing. Now, I know for the past 5 years, I have been talking to anybody I see at a gas station, you know, I mean, anywhere, attempting to get them interested. And I would say 95% of men aren't interested at all. They don't care. Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely a gas. But now out there, within and with the lobby, the thing that the center did was to staff this with 3 ladies, young, attractive, but trying to interest an old guy into this. The reason why I thought I was there, because the people would come up to the desk, okay, to look at all of the brochures, and I go, look, you know, the thing that you can do immediately happens to be to walk upstairs and to get a test, and they go, well. And I would say, because you don't want to end up like me, stage 4, incurable, terminal metastatic prostate cancer.
Well,
And they
so Jim, what's
look at
interesting,
me, yeah, and they would go, "You got it?" Because I look so good, right?
so Jim, I
Right.
think what's interesting is, the difference between blood cancers, which really are much more insidious in a way,
Right.
but they're caught more routinely
Yes.
because the tests that are given, right? I mean, am I wrong, Michelle? I mean, and Sally? I mean, basically, how do you show up with multiple myeloma? You've got some,
By accident.
right?
90,
Yeah.
almost like 80% of people with multiple myeloma are diagnosed by accident.
But is it accident or they're diagnosed doing a routine check?
No,
What do you
No.
mean?
by
It's not
accident.
routine. So
This
what
is
do you
not
mean by,
because the tests for myeloma are not routine. You have to have a bone marrow biopsy to confirm it.
no,
You
but
have
they
to
will
have a,
show, but before you do that, you would have abnormal blood network. Blood,
but you could have anemia, which is caused by a
right,
lot of other things.
right.
So it's not, and high calcium can be caused by something else. But the
Right.
definitive tests are the serum,
Benz-Jones proteins and what
yeah,
they used to be
Benz-Jones
called.
proteins and light chains and things like that,
Okay.
which are not normally done.
No, but
Especially
that was
in the,
triggered, but they would only do that, right? If they see someone come in like my brother who was anemic, or someone come in with an abnormal white cell count, or right,
Right.
then that would trigger the investigation. Whereas,
Isn't
so I think that in a way is a fundamentally different way in which the different cancers are discovered. Because in order to find prostate cancer, unless it's really too late and they show up like Jim and me, de novo metastatic, you got to look for it.
don't men, okay, I'm trying to get us off of prostate cancer, but I promise the last thing on it.
No, I mean, I
With
wanted to
men,
take the
isn't it part of
analogy.
your annual, isn't there something done for your annual exam that would check you for that?
But
Aha.
only if, so the powers that be, which is the people who decide what you should test for, have decided, and this is one of the guys who's involved is this guy Zeke Emanuel at Penn. And the point is that the cost benefit of analysis, if you look overall, of doing prostate cancer screening in men is against it. So in other words, if you get an elevated PSA, which is the test that you could get, they start you with all these other tests, and then a lot of times it's a false negative. And so the consequence is that the current recommendation, which is an absolutely outrageous one, is that men should not get screened
Unless they ask for it.
unless they ask for it. And
And
many
they don't know
doctors,
and would ask for it.
will just not do it.
Yeah.
And because it's not part of the recommended tests.
So I was just at the HealtheVoices conference along with Peter Kafka.
You
And
were with Peter. How was Peter evidently performed or something?
he did, but he did speak about, that's one of his things, right, is how men do not, and other advocates for other diseases, that it's hard for men to speak up. And Sally, to bridge this to blood cancer, and Al, Sally, isn't one of the potential signs of multiple myeloma injuries like breaks or
oh yeah,
bone?
yeah, bones are damaged very badly. That's how they found mine. I had a hole in my tibia.
Huh. What
And that
about
all got,
leukemia? So Judy, how do they find yours?
Oh, my CLL, I just had blood tests and
Mhm.
they said it was, I needed to go see an oncologist, which I did. And at that point, that was in 2014, he did a baseline CT scan. And that was December of 2014. And I didn't have anything until October of 2015. I had an egg size lymph node under my arm, which they then biopsied, and then we went on to subsequently, my doctor had trained under UT Southwestern doctor, and he referred me to UT Southwestern. So that's when I started VR at that time.
Mine was only diagnosed her because I browbeat my orthopedic surgeon into getting a CT scan because I told him I did not have shin splints for 9 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
My husband's
Wow.
was like, it's been probably 20 years that we've been following that. That nothing, thankfully, has developed into that.
You know, probably 65% of the population has MGUS. And of those 65%, probably 60% will never go any further than MGUS and, you know, won't go into smoldering and then
Yeah.
active myeloma. It's
Well,
something that is just in our genes and is carried, but, you know, unless you specifically test for MGUS, and they've only been doing that for the last 2 or 3 years, honestly, you'll never find it. Only 30,000 cases of multiple myeloma are diagnosed a year.
well, his MGUS had changed a little bit, so he's going back 6 months instead of a year this time. So.
Yeah, well, he may be edging up to smoldering, but again, you know, smoldering is not destructive, and unless it starts affecting the kidneys or the bones, then they'll leave it alone.
Well, hopefully the bones are okay. With the taking the Lupron and all, the doctor sent him to a mineralogist, and he'd been taking the pill once a month for his bones, and next week he's going to start reclass, a 2-year injection. So and I asked the myeloma doctor, you know, if that was okay, and they said, yeah, that they usually give something similar to his patients.
Yeah, so they give Zometa, but
Right.
it doesn't work the same way, but it's for the same reason. Yeah.
Judy, a question for you.
Okay.
You said that he had it removed. Okay, prostate, right?
Yes.
And he had radiation.
He
Why?
had it removed in 2009, and
Okay.
then in 2016, which was when I was undergoing chemo at the same
Okay.
time, he was going to another doctor every day for 8 weeks. He was going for his radiation.
Yeah, right.
From 2000 that, and then we're actually taking a little bit of, his other doctor we'd kind of taken the drug holidays on the Lupron.
Oh, okay.
He went to a new doctor who wanted to give it to him every 6 months, but this last time we are taking a little break from it. So depending on what his blood test does next month, whether we take another shot.
Okay, well, specifically Ancan, okay, and the guys are not too keen on the 6-month Lupron shot. Okay, the 4-month at the most.
Well,
Okay, because of
there's
certain.
a dosage of them that has either the 4-month or the 6-month dose.
Right.
Yeah, and so he had been taking the 6-month one. He got the 4-month one time because the supply was down.
Right. Okay, as I said, I got the 4-month. I will not get the 6-month shot.
Why?
Herb, explain it. I can't explain it that
Well,
well.
it basically is, it's a depot injection. I mean, it's not, it's really off topic for blood
Yeah.
cancer, but it's a depot injection, and the depot can only last so long. And usually if you give a 6-month depot, it doesn't last 6 months. So after
longer it seemed to be anyway. His counts would stay down for longer than 6 months.
I mean, do they measure his testosterone?
Yes,
and it's still down at 6 months.
yes,
Well, sometimes it's not.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Al, we haven't heard from you tonight. What's going on?
Yeah, how were you diagnosed, Al? Wasn't it
Yeah,
just you speaking to yourself?
yeah, I was going to butt in and say that's I was having problems with my feet, and I was sent to a podiatrist. So the first podiatrist, I went back for a follow up, and because he didn't follow up with me, like it was like I don't know, not even 6 months. And like I was telling him, I said, he gave me some arch supports and I still wasn't able to do anything. And some other people, where I was getting fitted for tennis shoes, they were saying, if they bother you, take them out. Don't wear them because they were bothering me. So I made an appointment to go see him. And I said, I said, you don't call me back in. I said, you don't follow up with me. I'd like to know where we're going with this. I said, I played very competitive racquetball. I would hike. I did mountain biking. I'd go for walks. I said, I don't do any of this anymore. So where are we going with this? What are you trying to accomplish? Do I need to see another doctor or what? And he threw the paper up in the air and he goes, yeah, get another doctor. And he walked out.
Hmm.
So from that same place, Tucson Orthopedic, um, I looked for another podiatrist in there and found this Vietnamese lady, looked at her credentials and her
Hi
reviews.
here, Ashley.
And
Hey, Ashley.
so I chose her, made an appointment with her, and told her what happened. And she says, well, before I do anything, she says, I'm going to send a message to your primary care. I want to do a full lab count on you. So then I had made an appointment with my primary care, which was like 3 months later, and told him, I said, did you ever get a, message from Natalie Hua? She wanted to do my blood work. And he's looking and he's looking. And he goes, no, he says, never got anything. But you know what? He says, let's go ahead and do that. That was like in about November, December of 2019. And come about the middle of January in 2020, um, called me in and says, yes, your numbers are elevated, your white and red blood cells and your platelets are all elevated, but let's check them again in 30 days. So I went back again the middle of February, checked them again, and sure enough, they were still elevated. And he says, I'm going to send you to a hematologist so we can find out what's going on. I went and met with the hematologist, and this is right about the time when we're going into lockdown, and scheduled a bone marrow biopsy, which was towards the end of March, and got the results there. And it's funny because of the MPNs, there's three of them, and the first one is ET, which I know, I don't know if it's essential thrombosis. And then the second one is polycythemia vera, and the last one is myelofibrosis. So originally with the hematologist, I was first diagnosed with ET. Then I was sent to Tucson Oncology to see an oncologist doctor there, and they told me that I had myelofibrosis, and the only cure is transplant, stem cell transplant. And there's no cure for it or nothing. That's the only way out. So they did lab work there, and then as long as I was there at Tucson Oncology, I was kept. They kept telling me I had myelofibrosis. During that time, we were able to get an appointment at Mayo, which is in Phoenix. It's about 2 hour drive, and had that appointment. Went up there and met with an MPN specialist and a team. Well, she's on a team. And she went over my numbers and everything. And she says, I don't believe you have myelofibrosis. She says, if I'm going to treat you and you're going to be treated here, I'm going to treat you for polycythemia vera. And so here I am.
So they thought you
15.
had
Myelofibrosis,
what
the
comes
third
under
one.
the
So,
Yeah,
and
the third.
original
so,
and
so what's
originally the
so the
ET.
take-home message, Al, is everybody should go to a first-rate center
Specialist.
of excellence, that you can't depend on local docs
Right.
I
for
agree.
your
That's why
diagnosis.
that's why multiple myeloma, at least up until the last, I'm saying last 4 or 5 years, when it's been getting a lot of play, because people like Tom Brokaw had it, and you know
Yeah.
anybody, lots of famous people have now had it.
So
So
for those of you who don't know, Rick has 2 condos here in Tucson, and he lived in San Francisco. And his best friend happened to be my older brother's best friend. So Rick was looking for someone to take care of his condos and do all the handiwork and uh, let people in and rent them out and everything. So I did that for Rick for like 5 years before ever meeting him. And then once I came down with this, I told my brother what was going on. And right away he says, well, you need to let Rick know. Little did I know what Rick did. And I was thinking that my brother was telling me I need to let Rick know because I can't work for him anymore. So I let Rick know. And thanks to him, he's been my advocate, and he guided me through questions we never thought of asking doctors. And thanks to him, we never thought of getting into Mayo.
he's a
So
coach.
yeah, I owe Rick a lot.
Oh,
Well, I know in Texas, there's lots of Texas oncology. I mean, they're all, almost on every corner. Uh, and what the oncologist, Dr. Awan, says the difference is you're going to them, and you may see them 10 minutes, and they're not going to really take time to explain everything, because they're our for-profit. Where Dr. Awan, he said, I get the same amount of money no matter how many patients I see. Uh, I'm on a salary, uh, and I can take time and explain things to you and take time with you. So that's kind of made me want to steer clear of anything like that.
it's a
Well, in
great job.
myeloma, it will save your life if you go to a specialist,
Right. Yeah.
Right.
because the regular oncologists outside of these centers of excellence don't know what they're talking about, and they
Yeah.
can't keep up. They cannot
Well,
keep up with all the changes.
and that, they're general oncologists. They're treating all kinds of cancer.
Right.
They can't know everything. So,
Well, and they maybe only have 5 people who have myeloma.
right.
Right.
It's the
Yeah,
same with
so
CLL.
when I was told I had myelofibrosis, and they kept telling me, "Oh, well, you got myelofibrosis. The only way to cure this is stem cell transplant." And towards, I think it was about the second or third appointment I had, she brought it up again, and then she tells me, "But you don't even qualify because your numbers are not even that high." Well, it was a week later that I had the appointment up at Mayo, and that's when I was told I would be treated for PV.
So what is
Now,
So
for that?
I'm sorry.
What is your treatment for what you have?
I'm just on the hydroxyurea, hydrea. It just cuts down on the process of my bone marrow creating too many platelets and red and white blood cells, just to slow it down. It is a light chemo. It's a very light chemo. And like I said, I'm all new into this. I'm only over 2.5 years into it. And
So is this a pill or an infusion?
yeah, it's a pill. And what I'm finding out though is the Hydrea, it's one of the first medications they give to everyone. It's really less expensive. But now I'm finding out that there's 2 shots. They're interferon shots, the Bezremi and Pegasus PT300. And they're giving those shots to people who already have myelofibrosis. But they're finding out that if they give them to people with the PV, um, some people are going into remission with these.
Right. I think that's very true. I mean, at least from the Heart Institute, Al, I would say maybe it's time for you to explore those
Yes.
options. I mean,
Yeah, I will.
hydroxyurea is a very old drug.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
I'm going to
guys,
bring that up with my doctor, I think.
you're gonna have a chance to thank Rick because he and I are switching rooms now.
Oh, well, nice seeing you.
See you guys next month.
Hi. This is exciting. I'm switching rooms. Can we all switch rooms too? Hey, Ashley, welcome.
Hey, Ashley, how are you doing? You look great.
Thank you. I'm doing well. How are you?
We're all good. I know now
Um,
more about prostate cancer than I've ever heard of in my life.
Exactly. Me too. Ashley, do you know Judy
I
Williams?
don't
Well, I remember
know.
I've been on before. Been a while.
Yeah, I haven't come in like 2 months.
See, you're not alone. Well, summer's hard. Summer's a hard time, but tonight last time we had massive amounts of people. Tonight we don't have many people, and I don't know. I'm like, what did the invitation go out via email?
Yes,
It
it
did.
did.
Okay.
No, I posted it. I thought I saw it, but I was like, well, maybe I imagine that. Ashley,
Actually,
what is going on?
Facebook.
Not much. Sally, I'm not sure if my uncle emailed you. I know I gave it to him a while ago. I
No,
didn't know if he did or not.
no.
I wasn't sure if he was gonna, to be honest.
I'll still answer him if he calls or emails.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Not a problem.
As for me, my liver numbers were a little bit high, so I was put back on the ursodiol, but
Oh,
hopefully I can get off of it next visit. Things are good. I went to a young adult cancer camp, like a sleepaway camp for young adults with,
Yeah, you talked about it the last time I talked to you.
yeah, it
You all
was,
wanted to go too, remember?
yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of activities that we did, but I think the best part was hanging out in person and, getting to connect that way.
Where was that?
It was near Pittsburgh.
Okay. I'd seen something of there's like a cancer house or something in Maryland, I think. It sounded interesting.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I went. Um, yeah, not really much going on over here. I'm getting over a cold.
me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
it's that time.
And we're not wearing masks as much as we used to, so it's not going to be like the last couple of years where nobody got sick because everybody was wearing a mask.
Oh, I still wear a mask when I'm out.
I do too. But no,
Indoors. Yeah, I still wear.
Only if I
I
fly or go to the
I get
symphony.
nervous. Yeah.
I do at all the stores.
is anyone going out to eat inside a restaurant? I mean, I've been loving that it's been warm weather.
I have done it.
I
Yeah,
do
If it's not
off,
crowded.
I do it an off time and where I can get a table way away from people.
Yeah.
I have a friend coming in from Philadelphia this weekend, and our weather has been warm enough to eat outside, but suddenly it's not. It's like what always happens every year, it's like warm and then it's not. So any advice from anyone out there on what to do about a restaurant for inside? Besides, I mean,
Just ask
we
for
have
a
to eat.
corner room or ask for a corner table.
We
Go
can't go at
early.
an opportunity. No, we can't do that. She doesn't get in town until 7:30 is the time we have to go because she lands. So otherwise I would. So corner table, that's good. It's been so long since I don't even know what the restaurants look like inside the new ones, you know, if they're spacious, high ceilings. I was thinking that might help. I feel like a hermit.
You're
You
not.
can just let them know that you're nervous about it and to, you know, be aware of that. Maybe they could do something.
You can wear your mask as you walk in and walk through the people
And that
and,
helps.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just,
do
you
that.
know, take it off only while you're eating or
You
drinking.
could also go to a really bad restaurant that nobody goes to.
Yeah, she might not appreciate, my friend might not appreciate that. That's funny, Al. Or one that's so expensive that nobody goes to it. Except
You could
them.
go to In-N-Out and go through the drive-through.
I was like, maybe she just had COVID, so I'm not worried about her, but it's just everyone else. I keep hearing how people have gotten COVID in crowded restaurants, so.
So, Michelle, have you gotten the last the variant shot?
So I got my second, I heard you talking about Evusheld before. I got my second Evusheld about a month ago, and now I'm getting my next COVID vaccine next week.
Okay. I also had heard that once you have the shot first, you have to wait 2 weeks to get your Evusheld. But if you have your Evusheld, you don't have to have any waiting time to get your COVID shot.
Yeah, my doctor has me paced because she wants me to add obinutuzumab to my regimen, and she wanted me to get a flu shot this week. This is all new this week. I just found out a couple of days ago. I'm pretty surprised about. So she wanted me to get my flu shot this week, the other next week, so I'd be prepared. Because it wasn't time yet for me to get my COVID shot because it's a 6-month thing.
Okay.
So, but it will be. It just happens to work. So.
Yeah, I'm getting flu shot next week.
Get them both tomorrow.
You're getting
Before
both
your
at
friend
once?
gets here, and then you'll be protected when you go to dinner.
Yeah.
You can take them both at once.
Yes, you can.
My doctor didn't want me to, so that's why I got my flu shot.
My doctor told me to do that. He said, just get them both at once. One in one arm, one in the other.
Because of the reactions I've had.
Oh,
From
okay. I haven't had reactions, so.
I've had really severe reactions to the COVID vaccines.
I had, but I took Tylenol and I only had 99 temperature this time, just for 24 hours, which was the least reaction I've had to any of them.
Anyone else have a and my oncologist said this isn't official, but she said that everyone's been saying it's not as bad as the other. So you just agreed with that, Judy. Anybody else? Did you get it, Sally? Did you say the new one? No, you're not
yet.
too yet.
No, I can't because I had COVID 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
What you asked?
I had reaction on some of the others 2 and 3 days, and even temp up to 100.5 on a couple of them. But this one, I only got to 99. Of course, I did take Tylenol to kind of do it. And I'm hoping the flu shot next week, that's one I always have reaction to also. So I'm hoping next week I don't have that either. I have a reaction to everything except the Evusheld. Had nothing from the Evusheld.
Yeah, I didn't either. Flu shot, I only had a headache yesterday, the flu shot. But other than that, nothing. I was pleasantly surprised. Was that Jim?
Yes. Let's see, the flu shot I got about 2 weeks ago, and it just so happens on Tuesday I was there, okay, in the COVID shot. And so I was okay in the morning, but then all of a sudden I was exhausted by the evening. And today I was hurting and I was running a temperature of about 99.3 or something like that. But hopefully I will be better tomorrow. And I feel better now, but
That's good.
it was the fatigue that was, it was brutal fatigue.
I didn't get the COVID shot yet. Just trying to, as soon as I get over this cold, I'll get it. I don't want to get it while having a cold because I'm afraid it'll make me sick.
That's a good point. Al, what about, and Al, have you gotten your flu shot yet? Or
No, but
your,
I will. I'll get mine here soon.
you guys still have summer weather going on. You always have great weather. Well, it gets hot though, right? Really hot. Is
Yeah,
it hot now?
No, we're in the 80s right now.
That's hot.
No,
If
it's
I were
cool.
there,
It's cool for us.
I could eat outside. Rick, have you gotten your flu shot or your bivalent?
I got my Omicron shot and my flu shot on the same day. Right 2 days before I was due to fly to DC. And I went to DC on the Sunday, came back on the Tuesday. I had no reaction from my 2 shots. And on the Friday, after I got back, I started coughing and sneezing. And I have been sick for the last 2.5 weeks. I canceled my next trip. And I can't seem to get rid of whatever it is. And I tested 3 times negative for COVID. And I think I've frozen.
No, you're there.
No.
You're fine. You
I
have bronchitis, you have the same thing I have, and go take Mucinex. It works fine.
is that what it's like in my sinuses and in my throat, but it's not on my chest.
Oh, okay. Well, mine started there and went to my chest, and then doctor just said, take Mucinex. There's nothing else you can do for it. And the cough will last about 2 weeks.
And I'm going on 3 weeks on Friday. I'm going 3 weeks on tomorrow. It'll be 3 weeks tomorrow. It's making me nuts. I don't feel that bad. I did feel the first few days when it came, I felt rotten, but I had my temperature was low. It was a 1 degree under and not over.
Yeah.
And my temperature was low for about 3 days, and I was getting sweats and this and that. So who knows? All I know is I didn't finish up going to DC again. I didn't go to Philly and I didn't go to Chicago.
I didn't get to see you in person.
You didn't.
You were missed by a lot of people.
Thank you. I didn't want to make people sick. And that was really, I didn't feel that bad, but I figured if I'm infectious, as it is, I think I made Dr. John sick. Dr. John's one of our moderators on our advisory board, because we went to dinner one night. Al was not having a good day that day, so he couldn't join us, but he did get sick. And I think he got the same thing as me, but no one else got sick that day. And I
So you
wasn't
were
sitting next to him.
but that's what's going around, what you're describing. So
Yeah.
maybe you just got it. I mean, that sounds like what I've had. Ashley, does it sound kind of what you've had?
Yeah.
She doesn't have a
Yeah,
cough.
I'm still coughing.
Oh, you're coughing too?
It's like
I have
dry
a
cough.
congestion. I'm trying to get it out.
I just have a
Mucinex
dry,
works.
irritating one cough.
I know, it's
Thank goodness.
annoying. That's sort of what it is. It's really annoying. It's like at the back of my throat, and you can't get rid of it.
That's
So
from
anyway,
sinus. You said sinuses. I think for me, I think it's from my sinus drainage, maybe.
yeah,
That's what I'm
that's it.
thinking.
That's what I mean. Sinus drainage that's exactly what it is. So I'm on my second roll of toilet paper here.
I was like, where is this going?
Is that
That was your
right? I mean, toilet paper's better than tissues because you don't need that much. You take a couple, you blow your nose, you throw it away, and then you take up another couple of pieces. It works much. I'm not kidding. Look, see? It's been on my desk for 2 weeks. It works.
Lynn came on for that one. It took that to get Lynn to join us, Rick.
Y'all are so entertaining.
Oh boy. Oh boy. And Al won't even talk to me. He worries he's gonna get infected over the telephone. He stopped calling me.
You better put your mask on, Rick.
I know. No, it's just, but I do feel, I actually exercised for an hour and 20 minutes indoors on Saturday and an hour on Sunday, but I haven't exercised since, either because I haven't had time, or I've had other things well, let's just say I haven't had time and it's really frustrating me. But what can you do? What
When you
can
figure
you
out what to do,
do?
let me know. And Ashley, so we can get rid of it, and Sally, so we can all get rid of it. I
Yeah.
suggested a hot toddy to Sally. Hot liquid would feel
That'll
good
at
right
least
now.
put me to sleep.
Oh yes, Sally, that's right. You told me that's what you told me on the thyroid cancer. That was the advice you gave me in the thyroid cancer meeting, remember? This is how long it's been going on.
I know, and I had it too.
You're right.
And I didn't
You're
give
right.
it to you.
Al might disagree with you, He's worried about what comes through the Ethernet, I think. I don't
Okay,
know.
you get sick now, it could be from any of us here, if that's true. You can't blame just Rick.
How were there a lot of sniffly coffee people at Healthy Voices?
Well, everyone had on masks. It was kind of hard to
Right.
tell, and there was a lot of crying happening here and there, as always happens. So it was hard to tell, because there were tissues going around. So it could have been for either.
Michelle
But
will share with you, if she hasn't already, she'll share with you what we're talking about at Healthy Voices, because all of you guys should think about trying to get in there. But I have one Healthy Voices question, Michelle, before you tell them. What the heck what was Peter's performance? I'm trying to find out. What did he do? Did he sing? Did he dance? Did he recite? What did he do?
what happens at Healthy Voices stays at Healthy Voices. Only he can share what he did. Honestly, only he can share what he did, because he asked that it not be shared outside of Healthy Voices walls. So you'll have to ask him.
My gosh.
However,
Okay.
Healthy Voices, I think I may have sent the link to some of you, but they didn't take any additional people in person this year because they had to cancel it before, so everyone who was promised to go could go. But because of COVID, they had canceled it. So it's a patient leaders conference where you get inspired, you learn kind of best practices. They have other patient advocates speak on what they've done, and they're very moving, a lot of them. There's usually a theme to the conference and panels set up with different people, caregivers who are advocates, patients who are advocates. They bring in other people. This year, one of the keynotes was a Pulitzer Prize winning reporter from The Atlantic, and his prize was from all his COVID and long haul COVID pieces, the coverage of COVID, and that of the immunocompromised. And he won a Pulitzer for it. And he gave a fantastic speech and presentation and moved a lot of us to get emotional about it. But he really did recognize what people were going through. And he said that he became so involved that he himself, that speech was his last official thing he was doing for 6 months, that he has to take a sabbatical, because he's apparently incredibly empathetic. So he took on a lot of the pain of what people were going through in COVID. So yeah, he was, and we gave him a standing ovation, and he cried because he was so, he was just a fabulous speaker, and he had the whole thing going on, the motivation, the feelings. It was wonderful. And then there were all kinds of other kinds of workshops and how to do certain things better for your advocacy. And Rick is well known in the Healthy Voices community because you were there from just about the start. And on the advisory, he was an advisor for putting it together for, I don't know how long, but I know he was, which I'm hoping to do for next year.
I'm well known only because for many years I attended the conference with a flip phone. So people enjoyed making fun of me because I had a flip phone. No, I missed the first 3 years. I do want to say, breaking news, that we are working to create a long COVID group. We have connected with an organization that is an advocacy organization for chronic fatigue syndrome that is also now looking at long COVID. And we're really hopeful they're getting their board approval. And if they get their board approval, that we're going to have a long COVID group. So I'd love to let this fella know, this Pulitzer Prize winning fella know what we're doing, because he may have some ideas, but we really think it's really needed.
It is needed. I've seen some on social media, some people have told me that they attend, they've gone in and out of those, some people who think they have long haul COVID. So I think that'd be great. I haven't heard of any, has anyone heard of any virtual like groups like this though? I haven't.
No, I don't think there are. I think we may be the first, and we're eager to get it going. And unfortunately, we have a couple of moderators of our close people who have long COVID, including Alexa.
I have a
Oh.
friend who had from Florida, and he actually has been, when he was going through it after it, he was on some of the news programs and you know, interviewed and things like that. So.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd be attending if he's a long hauler.
Yeah. No, I think we'll figure out how to get the word out on it. As and when it happens, it's probably going to happen. If it happens, it'll probably happen in the next 3 months. But we're working on it.
If you want to check out, it's Tommy Shepard, and he really put down all of his thoughts as he was going through it on Facebook. So you probably could find out. He's a music director at Hendricks Baptist Church in Florida, Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, I'm going to pass that on to Alexa and Herb, who are the people working on this. And, you know, that's the sort of person that we would love to try and pull in as a moderator. If we put the group together, we would love to have somebody like him as a moderator.
Yeah.
And the reporter's name is Ed Young, Y-O-N-G, at The Atlantic. Except he's on sabbatical, so I don't even know if he's going, I don't know if that means he won't check his emails now.
I would.
I'll reach out to one of the HEV people and ask them to come to connect us. If we move forward, as we move forward, I'll be sure to do that.
He'd probably be honored from what I observed as well. That's probably what he's trying to escape right now for the next 6 months. But that was on, wasn't that many days ago that he spoke.
I was going to say me too, but he's probably going to have more success than I will over the next 6 months.
I'm sure. Yeah, so he spoke Saturday night, and supposedly that was the start of his
sabbatical.
This is early on, so either that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. If he'll meet with open arms because it's earlier, this is when he's going to be the most strident about keeping that.
Yeah.
And it is hard to explain HealtheVoices, by the way. I was just realizing that it's kind of hard until you get there and experience it. But it really, when I first went in 2019, it touched me, but it also gave me confidence to move forward in advocacy. So I highly recommend it. because it gives a whole new perspective. Like Sally, you have a community that you get to see for your health tree. I think that's part of it too, don't you, Rick? That there's a community that helps.
I think Sally would be a superstar at Healthy Voices. That's
Absolutely.
what I think. I do. I
can't hear you.
definitely do. I don't know. I think Sally would be a superstar at Healthy Voices. And so Peter Kafka was actually, who was our former board president, was actually on the advisory board this year. And so yeah, we stay quite connected, and they were kind enough to defer my personal attendance to next year. So I'll go next year.
Michelle, send me the link again. I tried to look it up and all I got was a bunch of singing groups.
I think I have it. I think I can put it in the chat window. Let me do that for you. Yeah. It wasn't, I will say the virtual attendance was sort of disappointing for me, because it started too early in the morning for me. I was not going to get up at 6:30 to attend Healthy Voices at the weekend. And secondly, because people only attended the plenary sessions. So there was no interaction at all. And then even then, not all the plenary sessions. So, but are you, oh no, I was going to say you can, I was thinking about the Facebook page, but I think you've got to be invited to join the Facebook page. You have to be already, it's not open. But here it is. Here it comes. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Believe it or not, Sally, healthyvoices.com.
No.
Really?
But it's spelled not that, well, it's not, oh, wait, it's not spelled intuitively. There's
No,
no
it's
Y.
not spelled.
Yeah, it's
I'm-
HealthE.
There you
Voices.
go. It's right there in the chat window for everybody.
Yeah, actually, you should look at it. There's
Okay.
a good number of young
I spelled
adults.
it with a Y. No wonder I didn't find it.
No wonder you found
Right.
singing groups, but you will. Judy, what were you going to say?
I just said THE, the voices.
Yes, heal the voices. There you go. I bet they never thought about that one.
I
Michelle?
never did. I
Look
never
at
thought of that.
Heal the voices.
Oh, maybe they did. Wasn't that when you were when you were more involved when they named it, or did they name it on their own?
No, I came in after about 3 years. I think there were 3 before me. John Novak got me involved. He said, you really should go to this. And I did.
The voices. That's true. Because you also get healed as well when you're there, in a way, spirit,
Yeah.
mentally. And this
Yeah.
year the theme is feel the light. And there's
Feel
a lot
the
of, by the way, a lot of comedians, a lot of advocates are comedians. I mean, truly, they use a lot of self-deprecating humor. Just to give you an example, there were some testicular cancer patients, and their name is a ballsy sense of humor.
Yeah.
Some people who have ostomies, and either through colorectal cancer or from other things, and there were 2 people, they're double bagging it. That's their brand. So there are a lot of interesting, there's a lot of humor used with it, with self-deprecating humor to help people deal with their illnesses while getting the points across, but through humor of what happens. And so that helps lighten heavy loads. I'm just not that, I'm not as funny. I'm not a comedian.
Yeah.
Witty
Oh,
perhaps, but
wait a minute. Come on, full disclosure. Come on. Come on.
What? Which full disclosure? Wonder Woman?
Not Wonder Woman. What was, didn't you get up in front of 150 people along with Andrew? And what was
Yes.
it you did? Don't you think you have to tell people about this? I'm not. Go on.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess that was comedy. Okay. But it was kind of a parody on what we do. Okay, so back by popular demand, because we did this the last time it was held in person, we did a parody of Morning Joe with Joe Scarborough and Mika, his wife. Mika Brzezinski. I don't know if any of you watch Morning Joe in the morning. And so they're, you know, they have a newscast in the morning, national news, and the Joe can be kind of snarky. And because they're married in real life, sometimes there's interaction between them. So the first year, Andrew Shore and I did it. And this year we brought in Stephanie, who I know that Sally knows, Stephanie Trong.
Yep.
And we made her Stephanie Rule, who is one of the reporters that sometimes gives reports. And she, unfortunately, they got her a not very attractive red wig. And so she kind of, it was too bad. And they also got Andrew a silly wig this year, but I kept my wig.
Yeah, I saw
It looked,
Andrew's picture. I saw your and Andrew's picture on Facebook.
right, exactly. Well, it was actually my picture with my phone. No, but we were, but yeah, so we had a good time. So we do a new script, but it's a new script of the conference, but a lot of it's tongue in cheek. And so, you know, we have a real show open, and then, yes, I guess that's comedy. We had news as comedy in it, and we brought up the conference and some current political things happening. And then we bring it back to the conference. Like Ed Young, someone said that they heard that there were these people chanting, "Feel the light in the elevator," which is the theme. And that there was this poor guy in the middle of them all that everyone was hugging, was trying to get off, and that he spoke about, you know, anyway, it was Ed Young. And so you just had, I guess you had to be there. Because it's not the thing that I can, yes, okay, so I was involved in comedy, but it's not like off the top of my head comedy. You know, people can just get up and be really funny.
Yeah, but all those people that do off the top of their head, it's not off the top of their head. It's all rehearsed. They've all done it. They've done it all before. They've all got acts. Same thing. Maybe we could sign up Al and he could do a comedy piece in there.
If you write it for me.
Ooh, the gauntlet's been thrown down on both sides.
All right, me and Michelle and I will write it for you.
That'll work.
Be careful what you wish for, Al. Has anyone here do stand-up comedy ever? Me neither. It's really beyond my comfort level.
Well, maybe around the house after a couple beers, but not at a bar or anything like that.
Yeah. And Bobby doesn't exactly call it comedy.
Well, every time I'm on the phone with Rick and she hears us laugh, she always teases me. She says, "You guys sound like two little boys."
Yeah.
Laughter is good. Laughter's very good. Good for the soul here. So I think that we have covered everything. Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to share?
I'd like to ask Ashley a question, if she wouldn't mind sharing. Are you still taking Jacophy, and how is that working for you?
Yes, I am still taking it. I'm no longer taking cyclosporin. And if everything goes well, my doctor said that in 3 to 6 months, she'll consider tapering me off of the Jacophy. So,
Any major side effects?
No, not that I'm aware of. well, not from the Jacophy. I've had like this eczema type of a thing recently, but I'm not sure if that's the fault of the Jacophy, so I can't really say. But other than that, I'm doing pretty well.
Great.
It remind me, Al, Jacophy is an option with PV.
Yes. So like we were talking earlier before you came on, and what I'm on is the hydroxyurea, the Hydrea,
Yes.
and the Jacophy is given to the people who cannot tolerate the Hydrea. Then they'll go to the Jacophy if they could tolerate that. Then from there, it goes into the interferon injectable drugs.
Okay. 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 Somebody, I'm trying to think who it was. Last week I was talking to someone and they were, oh, I know who it was. It was a fellow in one of our prostate cancer groups who's having some sort of a response, and he's having to go through, and I can't remember what it's to, and he's having to go through phlebotomy, but he doesn't have PV. What the heck is it? I'll have to let me look it up. But yeah, I was quite surprised. He started talking about that he has to get bled. He's a doc himself, actually.
It's too much iron in the blood.
Yes, that was what it was. Thank you, Sally.
But I
He
can't
had an
remember.
excellent.
It's called hemo something, but I can't remember. But it's because of too much iron.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. And I said, it sounds like you're getting phlebotomized. And he said, well, I am. How do you know about that? And I said, well, I said, because I know about it from PV. I said, do you have PV? And he said, no, it's not PV. It's too much iron.
That's
So
it.
yeah, thank you. Yes. So very good. Okay. Well, I'm going to jump out and go back over to the close of the other meeting. Our moderators were doing very well when I left, and Herb came in, and it's lovely to see everybody's face here. And I guess I'm going to have to get Alexa to find out exactly what it is that Peter did at HealtheVoices. She's going to have to find out.
Well, I
What can
sent the
I
picture
say?
in case she wanted to post it, that we were both there.
I know
So,
she's got it. She's got it. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. All right, guys, take care. Just close out. Just close when you're done. See you soon.
okay.
Goodbye.
Why?
I love this room hopping concept. So this has all been recorded. We probably should have stopped the recording a short while ago.
We probably should have stopped the recording about 8 minutes in.
Yeah.
Probably. This has been one of those meetings where we have fun and talk about a lot of things.
That's necessary for our mental health because we are normal people. We
That's
are
right.
not our disease.
We're not.
Yeah.
Even though it feels that way at times, we can't let it define us.
That's right.
And Sally, remind me, I have someone who needs a myeloma coach. She was supposed to attend tonight, but at the last minute, her husband took her away for an overnight somewhere.
Well, I'd
And
rather go on the overnight.
Exactly. I think they should have brought us all. And her 100-day mark is Thanksgiving Day.
Oh,
So
good
she's
for
still
her.
days. So I'll write to you about the two of you to connect you. I was hoping
Or
that she could come.
she could go out there. I just put it in the chat.
Oh, but here I talked to her about you.
Well, she can
Specific.
find me on there. I'm under a myeloma coach. She can click on it
Okay.
and be automatically connected to me.
How is Lou doing? Do you, because I know, wasn't she
Oh, I
just
didn't know you knew Lou. How did you know? How do you know Lou?
from here?
Oh, that's right. I
Marmy.
forgot. She was here a couple of times. Oh, she's doing great. She's she's in that clinical trial. And I talked to her last week and she hasn't had any bad side effects at all. So she's excited about it.
That's wonderful. That's really good to hear. And Judy, I'm so glad you're doing well. That's terrific. You can stop IVIG now. Sally and I are both on it.
Yeah.
Nope, they took me off of everything. I've been off everything since July.
I did IVIG probably almost a year and a half or so.
Yeah, I've done it for the last 2 years. So.
And you know, the oncologist, he's as baffled as I am. I don't know whether my bone marrow is finally making something, or maybe I got a dose of IVIG that took or something. I don't know.
Geez, I've been on it for over 3 years.
I haven't.
The only caveat that he's done for me is he doesn't want me to get Shingrix vaccination because he still doesn't think my antibodies are strong enough or, to react to it. So he's keeping me on a Ciclavar. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I'm still on. So
I've taken Cyclovir and I've done that since 2015.
yeah, I've done it since 2018.
So,
and he just doesn't think that the vaccine is strong enough to pump up my IgG, IgM, and IgA.
well, I've even had, not recently, but a couple of years ago, I would actually have a little spot or two of shingles. And well, I mean, it would just be a little spot, and I knew what to look for. And so I immediately, give notice to my dermatologist, and she would give me the big dose of it's not a cyclovir, but it's the 1 gram 3 times a day, and got rid of it.
Yeah. I just read something in one of my getting lost down the rabbit hole and researching something else. A cyclovir, besides taking care of shingles and herpes, also people who take a cyclovir are 28% less likely to get Alzheimer's.
Oh, that's good. I'll stay on it.
Get on it. Stay in that one.
It was a study done in China, actually, in 2020, and they're repeating it in Canada. And I can't wait to hear what the results are.
Yeah, that's
my doctor
good.
told me that I have to be on it now for the rest of my life, basically. So I'm happy to hear that. Yeah.
Good.
Well, I take that and Gabapentin because I have what do you call it?
Neuropathy. Get rid of the Gabapentin and change to Cymbalta. It's less harmful to your body and it works beautifully.
Oh, really?
I did that because Sally suggested it, and it is better. I mean, easier to tolerate.
And if you get like I found that my neuropathy was much worse at night than during the day.
That's when it's at night.
So my doctors just suggested, actually it wasn't my oncologist, it was my primary care doctor said, well, why don't you just take 2 at night and 1 in the morning instead of, just up it a little bit and just take 2 at night.
I don't have stabbing pains. It's more like
I'm just numb.
The only way I can describe it is like when you go into the ocean and come out with the salt water, that kind of dry feeling. Mm-hmm. That's what my feet feel like.
Oh, mine would hurt and go absolutely numb.
I haven't had the numb feelings, thankfully.
Anyway, Cymbalta is great. Cymbalta is especially
Now, does
because
that-
there's no side effects.
How much do you take of that?
3 pills. I don't know what dosage it is because it's just,
So like once in the morning, you said, and 2 at
and
night?
2 at night. Yeah.
Okay.
So Judy, the gabapentin could be contributing to your being tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, gabapentin's not a good drug.
Actually, that was one of the things when I was having gastro problems, I was trying to see, for some of those things, but evidently it was just an infection because I thought it was something I ate, some of my medication, gone back on everything, and I still am fine. So
does Cymbalta keep us from aging if acyclovir can help prevent Alzheimer's for 28%? What is the good thing that Cymbalta is going to do, Sally? I vote for it being anti-aging.
yeah.
It's thank you. It's actually an anti-anxiety as well.
I use it for antidepressant.
Or an antidepressant, yeah.
That's what I thought it was. So what are the side effects of that?
I have none whatsoever.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to yawn. I just
Later then.
I'm gonna make you all yawn. Well, this has been a fun meeting. Al, do you have any last words?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Nice to see you all.
Nice to see you too. It's great to see everyone. Thank you for being here and signing out.
Bye.
Good night, all.
Good night.